Have you been feeling refreshed and motivated to want to do better this year? Maybe it's the start of the new year, or perhaps it's the beginning of the new week. But there you sit, and your new hope to perform better, to do better, starts. This feeling of possibility to achieve whatever desire you have and to mark a new beginning is known as the fresh start effect. And besides knowing about it, in this video we'll go through how you can use the ideas behind this effect, such as temporal landmarks, to shift your thinking into actually achieving your goals instead of just thinking about them. But before we jump into it, make sure to subscribe to this channel so I can help you mine the gold in mind. So, in short, the fresh start effect is a psychological phenomenon suggesting that we are more likely to pursue our goals whenever we come to a specific point in time that represents a fresh new start. Now, this point in time is what's called temporal landmarks and can include a number of specific dates from the start of a new year, your birthday, the start of a week or month, and honestly, any key notable anniversaries. Whatever the case is, the point of temporal landmarks is to make you feel like there's a point in time to represent a new beginning. So psychologically, it gives you this sense of feeling motivated, re-inspired, and eager to do better. In fact, there's been research suggesting that temporal landmarks act as a psychological marker that paints a perception of a new, distinct time period. This newfound perception makes you want to dissociate from the past and any failure that came along with it. And as mentioned earlier, the byproduct of this is that we kick off a renewed sense of motivation to pursue key goals. You're more inclined to engage in aspirational behaviors, whether it's committing to a New Year resolution or just simply starting a new habit or pursuing a goal or dream that you've been kind of putting off for a while. Now, if you're somebody who has a lot of goals but never ends up following through with them, it may suck, but don't feel too bad. In fact, with a lot of New Year resolutions, research suggests that most people typically end up giving up on their resolutions 1 month in the new year, roughly at the end of January to the start of February. So whether it's laziness, a lack of commitment, or just not taking things seriously, whatever the reality is that most people use these New Year landmarks as a point in time to reflect and feel refreshed, without really thinking about what it takes to get there. Now, psychologist Sasha Hines is noted on saying, for most people, resolutions represent the fantasy of perfection, perfect body, perfect life, perfect feelings, without any of the reality. With Americans themselves, according to some data, almost 50% of them make New Year resolutions, but only 8% actually stick to them. And another study suggests that by mid-February, almost 80% of people around the world who have made resolutions end up not following through. So this kind of backs up the earlier supported research. Now, it's not inherently your fault. Of course, you can always do better, but the point is that most people have never really learned how to actually set goals properly. You start the new year, new day, new week, new month with an entirely new outlook, assuming that you can be a new person, but that's just not true. Habits are what shape you. And to change them, it takes a bit of time, tweaking, and disciplined effort. Most distinct changes in goals that people often feel or want to do, it takes time to actually integrate it into your daily life. There is nothing specific about people saying, oh, I just want to lose weight or I want to make more money. None of this is inherently specific or clear. It's just a broad goal that just seems abstract and almost distant. And when something feels distant, as we know, most people these days want and need short-term gratification to feel motivated. Anything that seems too far off, too distant, too long-term almost seems improbable. And that's probably why most people these days end up failing with the resolutions. Their goals aren't specific or clear enough, and once again, it feels too far away. So I do go into this in other videos, so I won't go into so much detail right here. But one of the key ways to setting better goals and having habit formation is to set up a SMART goal system, which is to be specific in your goals, breaking them into smaller components, making sure that each goal is measurable with a given key result that you can quantify, ensuring that there's an actual actionable plan that you can take to achieve such a goal, and then knowing clearly what the purpose of this goal is to your life, how is it relevant to your needs and wants, and of course, focusing on a specific time-based or time-bound period to achieve that goal. Habit forming and goal setting is not just something that happens. It's not just some magic formula. It's something that you must learn and constantly work on. A lot of the reasons why most people fail as mentioned earlier, is the lack of education on how to set proper goals and then stick to them. So, going back to the point on temporal landmarks, if you're psychologically inclined to feel like there's this fresh new start at every new beginning, then instead of waiting for those moments to come to you, like the once in a new year or birthday or anniversary, instead you should try to frame time differently. Try to leverage this psychological phenomenon that we talked about at the beginning, which is fresh start effect, and deliberately, strategically create specific temporal landmarks within your mind, within your calendar. So of course, there are the given anniversaries, birthdays, start of the weeks, months, and years. But perhaps even within a given week, not just Monday as a fresh start day, but you can even use Wednesday as, and technically label as some sort of like, oh, the start of a midpoint mark. And then Friday, you can say, oh, the start of the weekend. So technically, what was once a singular temporal landmark in a week has now extended out to having 3 temporal landmarks, which gives you the opportunity in your mind to start fresh and renew your motivation consistently and continuously throughout the week. Going back to the earlier example, let's say you have a temporal landmark for Monday, the start of the week. Then after a day or 2 or 3, you start kind of waning in your motivation. But by Wednesday, you have another temporal landmark, which you feel like, oh, wait, it's midweek. You feel refreshed again, don't give up, and then you push again. And then you could do that for 1 more day, 2 more days, and you start approaching Friday, Saturday, and then you have another temporal landmark, which reminds you, hey, get motivated again. This is a fresh new start, right? So this is a constant movement towards motivating yourself as well as triggering this psychological sense of new. So I hope this was helpful for a new year, a new beginning, a new start to whatever you want to do. In the end, there are plenty of habit formation techniques and prioritization methods that you can kind of adopt and learn to achieve your goals and to get closer to your dreams. I do cover them in this channel, so make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video and check out the next video if you want to continue to learn how to improve your habits.